This is the Easter River just before it flows out to sea. At this point, most of it is effluent and not really even river water. So the city of Cape Town does have a point. This was not caused as a result of its failures. But this polluted water from Stellenbosch is still flowing onto Cape Town beaches with absolutely no warning for beach users. Last year, the E.Coli levels from Macassar Beach to Gordons Bay were over 15,000 per 100 mils, whereas the acceptable levels are around 1,000 per 100 mils.
We've got at various intervals 3 rivers that enter the bay here that are at times highly polluted. They empty themselves into the sea behind us here, and it provides foodstuffs for some of the sea creatures to eat. People catch those for food, and the infection cycle is simply perpetuated.
We decided to test each river on 3 different occasions and found the E.Coli levels in the Salauries River and the Soot River were over 10,000 per 100 mils. We spoke to Henry du Plessis, Cape Town's Director of Roads and Stormwater, who signed off on the Coastal and Inland Water Report, which states that the poor quality of the water is due to failing infrastructure and sewer blockages. Surprisingly, du Plessis insists there's no problem with the sea. What is the state of our rivers and coastal waters?
There is room for improvement. As indicated to you, 71 to 75% of the Falls Bay and Atlantic coastline is compliant.
These figures in that report are smooth averages. So they sometimes averages over a number of quarters of the year or over quite some time. That removes the peak pollution values out of the graph so that you can't see them. But the risks, the dangers are at those peaks.
And the biggest failures are in the winter, when the whole sewage and stormwater systems become overburdened. The most dangerous time to swim in False Bay is when the first winter rains flush the raw effluent sitting all over the Cape Flats.
The city is trying its best to address this, but they simply don't have the resources. What I find worrisome is not so much that they can't get to everything, but the levels of denial that exist in some places.
Sometimes it borders on the absurd. One city official claimed that the high E.Coli count on Hout Bay Beach was from the seagulls. And although the city of Cape Town may boast the highest number of blue flag beaches in South Africa,
if we continue on the trend that we are at the moment, our blue flag beaches will definitely be in jeopardy.
You can think of a family of tourists. They've been for a wonderful meal at one of the restaurants in the harbour or along the beach, and they go for a recreational walk across the river, and the entire family can be contaminated. What will they attribute it to? They'll attribute it to the food that they ate. The knock-on effects are huge. It's international tourists, it's local people, it's kids swimming in the beach. Yeah, throat infections are common in winter.
Pumping raw sewage out into the sea is not international best practice. The sea is not a delete button.
Aren't you just being alarmist here?
The large teaching hospitals in Cape Town are over the summer months running dedicated rehydration wards for the vast number of diarrheas. And I cannot believe that anybody can think that large tonnages of sewage can enter rivers, and that I'm alarmist in saying that that's a bad thing.
We asked Councillor van Dalen if he would swim at the Strand, knowing the high levels of pollution.
I wouldn't swim there. Generally speaking, it is safe to swim in our coastal beaches as such.
So Strand, can you guarantee that it's safe?
I swim in Strand, yes.
Fishhook, can you guarantee that is safe?
Again, yes.
Hout Bay Beach.
Again, one has to be careful when we deal with these questions. Generally speaking, it is safe to swim in these beaches. Yes.
Swim at Hout Bay, share and risk?
The western side, no, not for love of money. In winter, the whole sea smells of that smell you get when you open a manhole. If you want to be an ENT, come to Hout Bay during winter.
When we find that a particular beach is not compliant, we will put big notice boards on our beaches.
I've been to Hout Bay Beach. The sign is you have to go looking for it.
We haven't had any complaints from any of the beachgoers about that.
I feel quite disappointed, I have to be honest. I mean, this is such a beautiful place, and we've chosen to live here because it's so beautiful, and we've got this beach. But you just don't really want to go anywhere near the water. And obviously it's a worry for walking dogs. You wouldn't bring any children anywhere near here.
The grim reality is that when the situation gets out of control, as it did in the Mpenjati Lagoon in KZN, the outcome is like something from a science fiction movie, as R.W. Johnson discovered when he lost his leg to flesh-eating microbes. The road to recovery is slow, and the bizarre consequences of a stubbed toe will remain with Johnson for the rest of his life.